Hi, I'm Andrea Raleigh, and you're listening to Notes from That Writer Mom. Today I'm reading you a piece called Cherry Season in Kelowna and Our Toddler's Second Birthday. Flashback, 4 months ago. An open letter to my first child, who turned 2 on Monday. It's cherry season here in the Okanagan, and the air is filled with their sweet red scent. When Granda was here, there was a cherry orchard beside his Airbnb, and he snuck between the trees and plucked a handful from some branches. Granda, I said when I saw his palm full of the small, fleshy stone fruit. He snickered. I tried one. Then two. You tried one and your lips puckered, and you spit it out and gave it back to me. They were tart, but extraordinary, though not as ripe as they are now. We all ate the 7 or 8 stolen fruits, and I looked around anxiously, hoping we wouldn't get caught. Now that the cherries are in season, my fingers are perpetually dyed a bright crimson, the corners of your lips the same. Last night we did your entire bedtime routine. We tidied, bathed, brushed your teeth, played in the crib and stacked all your babies in the corner, read a book, put on your sleep sack, said goodnight to the cats and your bubba and your sibling and to our family and the photos on the wall. This part melts my heart, when you point to someone and tell me you miss them with your eyes. And as I sang the first words of your lullaby, you told me you were hungry. I always listen when you tell me you're hungry. My brain says you're stalling. My heart says you want a few extra precious moments to sit in my lap and nibble on a cracker while I hold you and kiss the side of your face. I understand. Last night, during this occasional post-bedtime routine snack, we shared a piece of Aunt Kathleen's cherry yogurt cake. She made this for you for your birthday tea party picnic on Sunday. I know. We'd already brushed your teeth, but it was out and ready for me to eat once you were asleep, and let me tell you, it was luscious. Many of the cherries, mysteriously, she said, had sunk to the bottom of the cake. I recalled her face as she puzzled this out, mumbled about her baking process on the blue picnic blanket in the backyard. Your aunt's furrowed brow occupied my mind as you picked out every cherry and gleefully ate it, leaving me the rest. I thought about how perfect the cake was, how textured and how happy it made us, and I thought about how, even then, your aunt seemed to feel like it was flawed, imperfect, with those sunken fruits. During the day, we'll ravage a bowl of cherries. Mine land on my tongue whole as I chew around the little pit, while yours are cut into quarters on your plate, each piece sitting in a small puddle of juice. Roadside stands sell a pound of cherries for $5 or less. I've never seen so many for this price. Back in Ontario, once a year, I'd splurge on a big bag of BC cherries. I'd spend $10 or $15 on them, I think, and I'd sit and eat them all by myself. I'm filled with such a strange sense of nostalgia now, to think of this time in my past that also, in a way, feels like I've taken a direct step into the future, a direct step into today, to living in this place where those cherries grew. I loved those cherries. And I love that your Baba never wanted any. I didn't like cherries until now, Baba says. There are more than cherries here. Massive tree fruit orchards hug the sides of roads that wind through mountainous hills that make up Kelowna. There are apples and peaches, pears, apricots and plums. There are orchards of grapes, too. There's so much wine. We get local strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries from nearby farms, and all of them taste exquisite. The cantaloupes are ripening. I am very eager to share one with you. This is the highest quality fruit I've ever had, right from the vine, the branch, handpicked by the person I hand our money to. I bet you can imagine how the city smells. It's divine. If there's a place in a world that'll keep the bees alive, I think it's this one. I have always admired farmers and held them in great esteem. To sow a seed that'll grow with rain and sun and love into something you can eat. Magnificent. I hope that living here you will learn the value of this work and cultivate an appreciation for the ways in which we get our food, how far it travels, who tends the soil in which it's grown. It rained on Monday, your birthday, and I thought it was auspicious. You were born under a thunderstorm, thick dark clouds in a 4 a.m. sky. We've had a few solid rainy days here in Kelowna, but the rain is nothing like Ontario rain. I'm told it's rare for rain to fall in July or August in Kelowna. It's uncommon. On one of the rainy days, when it poured heavy like a bright Ontario shower, one of our friends told us she was really worried about her child who was at baseball camp. He's afraid of the rain, she said. Oh wow, I said. Do you know why? She shrugged. I guess it's because he's an Okanagan kid. It doesn't ever rain like this. This made me laugh, and then you laughed. You were right beside me. I told you that I loved the rain, and in fact, I took you outside to stand in it, to feel it on our faces. That day we saw so many rainbows across the mountainscape. Growing up, your grandma would get visibly excited when summer thunder rolled in. She'd go outside and stand under a giant umbrella or the trailer awning if we were camping so she could watch the storm roll in. I loved this. I loved seeing her face, such a massive smile and a palpable excitement. I hope you learn to love the rain. Here, rain means something different than it does in southern Ontario. It offers hope, reprieve from potential wildfires. But lightning puts people on alert. Lightning can start a forest fire, and if there's not enough rain to sate it, well, you can imagine what might happen. There was a wildfire near our house a few weeks ago, a 4-minute drive away. Evacuation orders were put in place for our nearby neighbors, and it happened fast. It took 4 days to get under control. This is our new reality. Last night, after the cake, I sang to you and laid you in your crib. You had piled the most number of stuffies, babies, and friends I'd ever seen you pile at the foot of your crib. 20 or 40 or maybe 15, I'm not sure. It was a lot. You kept asking for another as though you were worried they'd wake in the middle of the night and feel left out. Or you'd see them once you were alone in your crib and be unable to get to them, and this would be an enormous travesty. I said yes to each and every one you asked for. For a moment, I wasn't sure there'd be any room in your crib for you, but I was pleased to see, in the end, there was a nice rectangular space for you to rest your head. I came out of your room and your baba, who held your stirring sibling in their arms, smiled at me and said, 2 years. Can you believe it's been 2 years? No, I said, as the weight of 730 days settled in my body, along with all the work we did beforehand to get to that precious, unknowable day one. We've only been parents for 2 years, your baba said. Think of our entire lives before and think of our lives now. My mind collapsed. It feels... I had to pause. What did 2 years feel like? It was a blip, but also everything. I thought of the person I see in the bathroom mirror in the morning, how much older she looks, how her friends who all live far away in other cities have yet to see all the gray hairs she's grown, how behind she is on sleep, how hungry she is all the time, how different her body feels now being in it. I'm not sure they'd recognize her now, so transformed by your love, by my love for you. I thought of all the places we've been and the things we've accomplished. 2 years. Teaching, moving, traveling, climbing up, skiing down, driving to Disney for your first birthday, and our 1 year as parents celebration. I thought of our move across Canada with the cats and how we've landed in this bountiful city full of farmland, black and brown bears, hiking trails, a large cold lake, and endless, unforgiving summer sun, and our favorite cinnamon buns. I thought about our family, how I've spent a third of my life without you all, and I cannot feel it. I cannot feel the time I've spent without you. It feels like we have always been together, I said to your baba, even though it's only been 2 years. That's because you were always here. It's impossible to articulate, but it's something I am sure of. You were always in our lives. Happy second birthday, baby. You have such a beautiful life ahead of you, and I am so glad that I get to be a part of it. I love you. Thanks for listening to Notes from That Writer Mom. If this little love letter from the Okanagan resonated with you, please share it with a friend who's also trying to hold on to all those fleeting moments. I'm Andrea Raleigh. Thanks for being here and for savoring this tiny moment in time with me.